All right, so next up, I want to talk about one memory that sticks out to me from every step. And this is so hard, but I went to so many different places, saw so many different things, and I want to look back and just continue in this recap to just highlight some certain things that I experienced. And the first stop that was made was my flight from LAX to Tokyo. Get off at Tokyo and immediately that night go to a baseball game. So I went to Yokohama. That was sort of the first stop of the entire trip. A Yokohama BayStars game. And the memory that sticks out to me here is just entering the stadium. And this was kind of the first place that I realized the response that I could potentially get in Japan. Gates opened, and 30 seconds after the gates opened, these two girls came up to me, and one was in tears, and just went on and on about how excited she was and how thankful she was, and I gave them two Flippin Bats shirts, and that was a really cool experience because it was kind of the first thing that happened to me in Japan after so long of hearing things from different people like, hey, like, you're pretty popular in Japan. I don't know what that means. Like, how am I supposed to know? And then to have that happen immediately was really cool. Also in that game, two fans that were sitting right next to us took the jerseys off of their backs and gave it to two of my producers that were there. They didn't know about the show. They didn't know about what we were doing there. They just liked us. And after, there was a little bit of back and forth, saying hi, exchanging, fish cheese sticks, and exchanging beer. And then next thing you know, they're taking the jerseys off of their backs and giving them to us. That was really special. So that was my memory from Tokyo, Yokohama, the first stop. From there, it was off to Iwate. Experienced a lot of things there. My memory that sticks out from there is being at the Little League that Shohei played at. Just the kids. Look, we didn't speak the same language. None of us. I couldn't speak their language, and the kids couldn't speak mine, although some of them are in English class, and they knew a few phrases, which was just the cutest thing. One of the kids just kept saying, "Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!" over and over, and it was great. But just the experience with the kids there, walking up for the first time and them looking at me, just confused, happy, everything. You could just see it going through their mind. And then after being there for a couple of hours, to see them open up to me, to have them want to come up and to tap me on the shoulder and wave and then run away, or to shake my hand, or to want a picture, to want autographs. That whole experience with them was great. And then it was time to leave. As I was getting in the van, they all started lining up in front of the van. Every single one of them, every player on the team. I got out of the van and walked up in front of them. They were probably 10 feet in front of me. And they all did this like synchronized goodbye. They took off their hat. They bowed. They said, I think it was goodbye. And then they all came running up, asking for autographs. I signed so many different things for them. Everything from baseballs to water bottles to batting gloves to hats to gloves to the back of their mom's shirt to the back of their shirt. And then I got in the van, started pulling out, and they all mobbed the van. Mobbed the van as I was pulling out. I rolled down the window, waved by, stuck my hand out. They all gave a high five. It was just the cutest thing in the entire world. And again, a memory that I will certainly never be forgetting. That Little League is a special place. It's sandwiched right in between two highways. There's like a mineral field on one side of it, and out of nowhere pops just 2 tiny little baseball fields and just a bunch of kids that want to grow up to be like Shohei Ohtani. And it was really cool seeing that. So spent a few days in Iwate. From there, it was back to Tokyo, where the memory that sticks out to me, and man, this might be the memory of the trip, the meetup at the Tokyo Dome. You know, whenever you plan a meetup, it's kind of like, I don't know, like, I hope people show up. I knew some would there, because I was announcing it, and I knew the response I had been getting to that point. But you can never truly plan for what I saw. We had the meetup location. It was right in front of the Tokyo Dome sign, so everybody knew where to go. Let's say the meetup was set for 2:30, whatever the time was. At 2:35, okay, 5 minutes after that, I walk around the corner, not knowing what to expect, and hundreds of people were there, with signs, with paintings, with drawings, with jerseys, with cameras ready to take photos. That memory, that image, turning the corner and seeing them for the first time, that will never leave my mind, ever. That was special. Getting into that group was even more special. All of the fans, all of the stories, all of the pictures taken, all of the hands shaken. I was supposed to be there for an hour. I was there for well over that, over 2 hours, much to the chagrin of my producers that were there, who were, not that they didn't want me there, it was time to leave. I wasn't doing it. To live in that moment, man, we'll never forget it. Hundreds and hundreds of people were there. Hundreds of photos. So many gifts. Gifts were such a big thing. I got so many gifts. I ended up having to buy another massive suitcase, a full-size suitcase, to bring all of the gifts back home. And there wasn't even enough room. I had to stuff other gifts in other people's suitcases that were already pretty full. I just had to stuff things everywhere I possibly could. I got so many gifts from people. One that, look, I don't even know how to explain the gratitude. I don't know where to begin. One of the gifts that I got was pretty delicate, and it meant a lot to me. I carried it the whole way home in my hands. This. A little girl made me this. Obviously, the Flippin Bats logo. There's some writing here in Japanese. It says, "Thank you for making baseball so much fun." And then right here, "I love you." And it's just the cutest thing in the entire world. The girl that made this was probably 8 to 10 years old. And that was just the theme of the meetup. So many stories told. One woman was in her 70s and traveled 4 hours just to be there for that. She left after the meetup. She traveled 4 hours to come and take a picture with me and to tell me a story, a very, very special story. And there were just so many from throughout. And that Tokyo Dome meetup, man, I could get choked up just thinking about it. That was special. So I was there for over 2 hours, took a photo, shook the hand of every single person that showed up, and I was not leaving until that happened. There was no way I was being pulled away. I wanted to say hi and thank everybody for coming. But what a special, special memory there. Was in Tokyo for a couple days. From there, It was out to Sapporo, Hokkaido, where Shohei played professional baseball for the Fighters. Man, this was a really cool part of the journey as well, because I did a couple different things. But the memory to me from here is the game from that night, the game, the Nippon Ham Fighters game that I went to. I got to throw out the first pitch, which was a surprise. I didn't know that was coming until a couple of hours before the game. I'm told about it. We get there. I throw out the first pitch. I was so nervous for that. But I end up doing it. I walk out there. I step on the mound that Shohei Ohtani himself pitched on for a few years. He touched 103 miles an hour on that mound. I walk out, touch the dirt of the mound, look around the crowd where thousands and thousands of people are watching, and it just kind of all hits you. But I threw a great pitch, threw it pretty hard, because when you commit, you got to commit or it could end up being awful. Fun fact here, and it continues to be just an unbelievable part of the culture out here, but for every first pitch at baseball games in Japan, they send out a batter that swings no matter what, just so you can't throw a ball and feel bad about yourself. No matter what, you're going to throw a strike on the first pitch. So a batter comes out. I didn't know that was going to happen, so immediately I'm like, oh boy, I was planning on throwing this pretty hard. Hopefully I don't throw it at this guy. Threw it hard, threw a strike, all was good. Great first pitch, unbelievable moment I will remember forever. But speaking of when you commit, you just got to commit for it. The next thing I did was the fox dance. I did it at this game. And after the third inning, I did the fox dance. Now, what this means is I was actually asked after the first pitch, like, hey, after every third inning, we do a fox dance. Do you want to see it, or do you want to do it? I was like, yeah, sure. I'll do it. I'm committing. So after the top of the third, go down into the tunnel where I'm taught the fox dance by the cheerleaders for this team, which we all know there's cheerleaders because that's what we need to bring, part of what we need to bring to America. I learned the fox dance from the cheerleaders down in the tunnel. The fox dance that I don't know, that I'm about to go do in front of thousands and thousands of people. Also was told, hey, Ben, just an FYI here, you need to wear fox ears and a tail. Yeah, I was doing it. Was down in the tunnel with these cheerleaders rocking a tail and some fox ears. And end up going out on the field, doing the dance. What a moment. What a memory that I will have forever. It was just a wild game. I think I nailed the dance. And that's all there is to it. You know, you can say what you want to say, but when you commit, you commit. And I committed to that dance. And I did it, and nobody can take it from me. I did it. And that was my memory from Sapporo. And from there, I was pretty much just back to Tokyo for the flight, had a 5-hour layover, and from there, it was back to the U.S., about a 10-hour flight. And, yeah, that was the end of the most incredible trip of all time. Thanks for watching. If you love Flippin Bats, swinging 3-0, or just talking ball, join us. Call us at 213-537-9339 with your questions. We have a weekly guest, and we have a lot of fun, so hit that subscribe button.